Did you know that you can do magic like wizards? It might sound impossible, but it's true. You see, our world is a symphony of frequencies. Every object, every material from the tallest skyscrapers to the smallest pebble hums with its own unique frequency. It's a concept that goes back to the pioneering work of Heinrich Rudolf Hertz, the brilliant physicist who first introduced us to the concept of frequency in the late 19th century. Hertz showed us that the universe communicates in a language of waves, from the electromagnetic pulses that light up our cities to the radio waves that connect our world. But the magic of frequency doesn't stop there. It extends to the everyday, to things we often take for granted. Have you ever heard of the escalation phenomenon? It's the principle that when a small force is applied to an object at its natural frequency, the resulting vibrations can cause catastrophic damage. This is the same principle that has brought down bridges and even been used in terrorist devices. But what if I told you that the same principle can be used for good? That the right frequency can not only break things apart, but also put them back together in new, beneficial ways. Take water, for example. Japanese researcher Masaru Emoto showed that water crystals can be influenced by their environment, specifically by the frequency of the sounds around them. By repeating sounds at a specific frequency, the water molecules rearrange themselves into unique patterns. And here's the truly magical part. Your body, which is made up of more than 70% water, can also be influenced by these frequencies. By consuming water that has been influenced by a specific frequency, you can bring about incredible changes in your body and your brain. So you see, the magic isn't just in fairy tales or Hollywood movies. The magic is within you, waiting to be unlocked. Now you might be wondering, how can we manipulate these frequencies? Keep watching to find out. You might think of frequency as something that only applies to electromagnetic waves, but in fact every object and material has its own frequency. Now that's a thought to get your neurons firing, isn't it? Picture this. Even the mundane piece of stone you walked past this morning, it hums with its own unique frequency. Let's dive a bit deeper into this universal phenomenon. The concept of frequency isn't just about waves radiating from your radio or the pulsating signals of your Wi-Fi. It's an inherent property of all matter, a cosmic symphony where everything from the tiniest atom to the grandest galaxy plays its part. Now, have you ever heard of the escalation phenomenon? It's a fascinating example of how frequency can have real, tangible effects on our world. Imagine a bridge standing tall and sturdy, but then a wind starts to blow. It's not just any wind, but one that matches the bridge's natural frequency. The bridge starts to sway, the oscillations grow larger with each matching gust, until finally, the bridge collapses. A dramatic demonstration of the power of frequency. This phenomenon isn't just confined to bridges. There are tales of sinister applications too, a device that can cause heart attacks, not through any physical means, but by generating specific frequencies. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? But it simply underscores the profound influence frequency has on our world and our bodies. So, frequency isn't just about radio waves or the ticking of a clock. It's a fundamental aspect of our universe, influencing everything from the sway of a bridge to the rhythm of a human heart. It's a key that can unlock doors to understanding the world around us and within us. So, frequency can have a huge impact on our physical world, but did you know it can also affect water? Now that's a riveting thought to leave you with, isn't it? Let's explore this further in the next scene. Masaru Emoto, a Japanese researcher, made a fascinating discovery about the effect of frequency on water crystals. This was a revelation that sent ripples through the scientific community, and it's something we're diving into today. Emoto's research centered around the arrangement of water molecules in their solvent state. Now you might be thinking, what does that even mean? Simply put, water molecules always position themselves next to each other in this state, with the negatively charged oxygen atom of one water molecule nestling next to the positively charged hydrogen atom of the next. But here's where it gets interesting. The way these molecules arrange themselves, the way they form their crystals in this solvent state, can be influenced by various factors. One of these factors, as Emoto discovered, is the frequency of the environment. Now, we've all heard about frequencies in terms of sound waves, radio waves, and the like. But every sound, every word we speak has a specific frequency. And when these sounds, these frequencies are repeated over and over again, they can actually cause the water molecules to rearrange themselves. This might sound like a minor detail, but it's actually quite significant. You see, the nature of these rearrangements can be vastly different depending on the frequency used. And these different arrangements can lead to different states of water, each with their unique properties. But the real magic happens when we apply this to our bodies. Our bodies, after all, are made up of more than 70% water. So, if the water we consume has crystals that have been rearranged by certain frequencies, it stands to reason that our bodies, our cells, would undergo tremendous changes too. This is a secret that is often overlooked, but it's one that holds a lot of power. If the water that enters our cells has been influenced by certain frequencies, it could potentially lower the frequency of our bodies, and by extension our brains, below 4 Hertz. And if frequency can affect water, imagine what it can do to our bodies, which are made up of more than 70% water. And that, my friends, is the power of frequency on water. The frequency of our environment can cause significant changes in our bodies and minds. This is more than just a hypothesis. It's a fact backed by scientific research. Consider this: our bodies are made up of over 70% water. Now, if you recall from our discussion about the power of frequency on water, we learned that the frequency of our environment can rearrange the solvent-coated form of water crystals. So imagine what could happen if we regularly consumed water that has been influenced by a certain frequency. The water molecules in our bodies, particularly those in the grey cells of our brains, would rearrange themselves based on this frequency. This could result in a significant shift in our body's overall frequency, and more importantly, the frequency of our brain. But what does this mean for us? Well, let's take the word exudative, for instance. This word has a frequency that is exactly equal to 45 Hertz. If you were to repeat this word several times accurately, you would radiate a frequency of 45 Hertz to the water in your body. The water molecules in your brain would then rearrange themselves based on this frequency. This frequency corresponds to a special state of brain gamma waves. In this state, your brain becomes a highly efficient problem-solving machine. You're not just thinking clearer, you're thinking smarter, faster, and more creatively. Now, here's where it gets even more intriguing. By manipulating the frequencies we emit, we could potentially influence the brain frequencies of other people. Imagine being able to calm an angry person or encourage a more rational and harmonious resolution to conflicts. It may sound like magic, but it's simply the power of frequency at work. So, while Hollywood may have led us to believe that only wizards can perform magic, the truth is, we all have the potential to do so. We just need to understand the power of frequency and learn how to use it to our advantage. In essence, by manipulating frequencies, we can control not just our own behavior, but potentially the behavior of those around us. So, how does all this tie in with the idea of magic, you might wonder? Well, let's delve a bit deeper into the rabbit hole. Remember the bridge that was destroyed by the phenomenon of escalation? That was the result of manipulating frequency. And remember Masaru Emoto's research on water crystals? That's another vivid example of frequency at work. Just like a bridge or a water molecule, every object, every material, and even every individual has a unique frequency. By understanding and manipulating these frequencies, we can achieve effects that might seem like magic. By using the right frequencies, you can also affect those around you. Imagine being able to influence the mood of an angry friend or even steer a heated argument towards a peaceful resolution. Sounds a bit like mind control, doesn't it? But it's not. It's simply understanding and using the power of frequency. This brings us to the question, why do Hollywood movies often depict wizards chanting and casting spells? Could it be that they were onto something, that they understood the power of frequency and used it to their advantage? It's certainly food for thought. So, next time you think of magic, remember it's not just about wands and spells, but the incredible power of frequency. We all have the potential to be wizards, harnessing the power of frequency to shape our world. It's not about pulling rabbits out of hats, but about understanding the fundamental laws of the universe and using them to our advantage. That, my friends, is the true magic of frequency.
Subscribe to the channel for more video, and please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this.